So no, absolutely. So I mean now we have our Ford models. So we have Figo, EcoSport. We have the XEV Scorpio. We're having the Amaze City. But we'll be adding, as I said, luxury cars will be coming in a major way pretty soon here, and so that'll be coming from Mercedes, and then also we will be adding some Maruti vehicles as well. So later on, so that will also be coming. So now, in terms of other car makes, so the ones that will be coming up will be some more sedan type vehicles later on. So certainly looking closely at a couple of others. So yeah, I would expect that base now of sort of 5-6 different makes primarily to go closer to 10 in the next couple months. So what we see interestingly is that all of them do pretty evenly well. So the SUVs are certainly extremely popular on the weekends, as you might imagine. The compacts and the sedans are a little bit better during the weekdays, in the sense that I think it conforms to what people are doing with the car, and you find a lot more outstation travel happens on the weekends, and a lot of that tends to gravitate towards SUVs. But it's not a hard and fast rule, and so as I said, it's pretty evenly distributed across the week. Yeah, so we have that's interesting. So thanks for pointing that out. That's something in Bangalore. We don't have that here in Hyderabad yet. In fact, there's some permitting issues around the Nano that we're still trying to work out with the Telangana government. But the Nano has done extremely well for us in Bangalore, in fact. So we have 50 Nanos. Again, it comes down to kind of what customers are doing with the cars, how they're using them. And as you might imagine, the Nano, given its sort of profile, it's a very small car, very compact car, subcompact. And it's very maneuverable, it's very light and nimble. It's kind of fun to drive in its own way. It's, of course, also very, very cheap relative to the other cars in the segment, because of the inherent costing. So it's always been a big hit for us with ladies, with university students, and some other cost-conscious folks, because it is, again, the drivability of it. It's very easy to maneuver. So yeah, I think that'll continue to do well. On the Reva, the E2O front, that's something that we only have a couple of those in our fleet, but it is something that has consistently done well for us. It's a car, though. Keep in mind that the way it's designed, unfortunately, right now, it's not a car that's really built to scale in a fleet such as ours, because the reality is it takes about 5 hours, sometimes 6 hours, for the battery to charge in full. So it's one of those things where typically you can kind of only have one customer use it a day. Ideally, if you wanted to have hundreds of these cars across your fleet, you would want it to be charging in a 15-20 minute fashion, which some of the cars in the U.S. and Europe have. So Mahindra is working on some technology there and some fast charging technology. So I think as soon as some of that gets piloted and deployed, we could consider taking more, because there's certainly a demand from the customers. The other thing is the price of the car itself. When you have a car that's 7 lakh plus, it's not necessarily the best fit, and it kind of reflects itself in some of their sales. But the car itself is a good profile. Oh, so yeah, there's always challenges to every business, but I think for us, one of the things that we always focus on really closely is the condition of the cars. So the reality is that a lot of different folks, a lot of different people will drive the vehicle, right? So you need to make really sure that you're taking great care in terms of your servicing, in terms of any sort of unscheduled maintenance events that come up. You can't neglect that. And so that's something where some of the cab guys, so some of the folks that come into the market, so not to name names, but guys maybe in 2007, 2008, 2009, they took a very different approach to maintaining their vehicle. And so I think what the lesson learned is that you really need to look out for that and preemptively strike when something is potentially there. And so as long as you do that, and as long as you're sensitive to it, mindful of it, it's okay. And then I think also over and above, you always want to take security measures. So we have very robust GPS tracking in all of our every single one of our cars, every single one of our makes. So we have a lot of software that we've built and developed around that to keep the cars safe, to keep the passengers safe, and so that's something that we'll continue to do. No, zero. So we've seen now, in terms of bookings, we've done thousands and thousands and thousands upon bookings, and we've never faced one theft or attempted theft, and we don't anticipate that coming. Designed from the from the bottom up to be extremely user-friendly and simple. So we have everything done on a time-based model. So as opposed to a distance-based model, which is what you typically see with the radio taxis or other chauffeur segments. So we keep it simple. So you can rent by the hour, by the day, by the week, or by the month. These 4, 5, 6 hour bookings, 1, 2, 3 day bookings. Those are very, very common. And so we price it each vehicle make, which sort of logically would make sense, where a Figo will have a different price tag as opposed to an XUV. And so starting off, the Nanos, which are in Bangalore, are at $19, but here we're starting off at $80 an hour on a Figo, all the way up to closer to $200 an hour for a larger vehicle on the weekends, like for an XUV, let's say. So we do price differently Monday through Thursday as opposed to Friday through Sunday. So Monday through Thursday being cheaper, so we typically price anywhere from a 20% to a 30% discount, 30% discount during the week, and that's for sort of natural reasons there. We've consistently charged along those lines. And so one other point that's worth mentioning on our tariff is that, as I said, it includes, of course, insurance, tax, and fuel, but then also you have a certain free kilometer allotment. So for each hour that you book, you get 10 free kilometers. So for one day, that means one 24-hour day, you have 240 free kilometers. So anything over that amount that you travel, there's a small charge, an excess charge on top of that, which is, again, very, very simply put, basically designed to help cover the overall running cost of the car. And so that typically that number will range sort of between 12 and $15 a kilometer once you cross that threshold. And so we find that a minority percent of our overall bookings will have this charge attached. So we find most people will actually stay within the kilometer limit. And so that's kind of why we've sort of customized it, and we've kind of tweaked that and optimized that a fair amount as we've gone along, as we've collected more and more data about the service.